Enfield. Hello, Tony.
Hello, Nick.
Tony.
You know, the whole of the country is completely confused because who do we vote for? What's the point? What's going to change? Nothing. I've voted all my life. I've always believed in social justice, always supported the underdog and the downtrodden and all the rest of it. And do you know what, Nick? I'm not going to vote in the next election.
Oh, you must, though, Tony.
No. Russell Brand was absolutely right.
No, he wasn't. There was nothing he's ever said has been absolutely right.
Well, no.
Are we talking about the multi-millionaire socialist Russell Brand?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and if enough of us refused to vote, we'd have a revolution, wouldn't we?
No, we wouldn't.
It'd be a revolution.
There would not be a revolution. It would be a slight footnote in the returns saying the turnout was a record low of 0.1%, and the results are, and then we'd get the results. And so the people that vote are the ones that decide.
Dick, no, listen, Dick. Nobody won the last election. Did you vote for a coalition? Nobody won the last election.
Well, you know, many perfectly successful countries are run by coalitions. Look, I mean, Belgium, for instance. Well, OK, let's pick somebody else. Like Germany, for instance, run by coalitions. I think it's a perfectly acceptable way to run a government. It sort of sands the edges off for both parties, and we get something more or less in the middle where most people sit.
Yes, Nick, but we're not Germany, are we? We can't compare ourselves.
Yes, sure we can. We can compare ourselves to Germany. What's the difference between us and them?
Well, I think...
Oh, by the way, did you see that story about the guy who wandered around Asda dressed as in a Nazi uniform?
Yes, I heard about the story.
Well, I read. Hang on a minute. I read that story yesterday, and I just saw the coverage in the Super Soaraway Stun today. And, you know, the best thing about the Stun usually is the headlines. They must sit around they must have teams of people sitting around tables coming up with the headlines for stories. And the story, in case you hadn't seen it, it's worth hearing. One moment, please. A Nazi fanatic was booted out of Asda for wearing a full SS uniform. And he said last night, "I'm disgusted. They're a bunch of racists." That's the story in the Sun. And the headline: if I had sat down here and waited to the end of time, I would not have come up with anything this good. A picture of the man standing in the supermarket, and the headline is "I'll Hitler." That's priceless.
Look, you've got a great programme, and we know you've had all the arguments. We've sold everything off. We don't own anything.
Yeah.
All the foreign governments own everything. We've got it. Now listen, I've got a good idea how we could get out of trouble.
Oh, I bet you haven't.
No, we'd have enough money for housing, for medical research, for education, because you know half of us can't read and write in this country.
No, that's true.
But I think if we could sell the crown jewels, think about it, Nick. Billions of pounds. They'd be coming from all over the world to buy the stolen property. I'm sorry, the crown jewels, you know. And if we could sell them off, do you think we'd have 27,000 elderly people dying of the cold and related diseases? It could be a new world, a new complete beginning.
Well, I like the sound of that idea. I mean, what difference will it make if we sell the crown? Who knows actually if we still own them and they're not all just paste?
Well, there must be. I think there's still a few outstanding demands that these countries want the jewels back that we removed from their territories many years ago.
Oh, yeah, they'll have to take their position in the queue behind everybody that wants everything that's in the British Museum back.
And one last thing, Nick, I could solve the housing problem, the shortage of housing. I would do it in weeks, not months or years.
All right, lay it on me, baby.
No, I'll tell you, this is a great idea. I've just come up with it. Look, if we could get 200 or 300 old London buses, whatever, transport of some sort, collect all the homeless people all across the country, and the people living in overcrowded conditions, get them down to the Mall, sleeping bags, and a sandwich and a cup of hot tea. They could all sleep round the big council house called Buckingham Palace. How long do you think they would take to build some sociable, affordable housing? I think it'd be done in 6 months.
Well, you keep thinking, Tony, because it's what you do best.